Today, we're going to have a very interesting conversation. I'll be looking forward to looking in the comment section to see what people have to say. Please keep it respectful. So far, that's been very good. I've been very pleased with a lot of the comments in the comment section, even stuff that I don't agree with. It's still said in a very, very respectful manner. And hey, discussion is always fun as long as we can do that. But yeah, I've been really, I'm not trying to be corny. I've been proud of the comment section. I've even been showing them to some of my friends because it wasn't that long ago I wasn't getting any comments. So even when I see comments, man, where people don't agree with me or whatever, I'm always glad to see it. And that's because you guys are always respectful. But anyway, we're going to have a conversation about a very sensitive subject. And I'm sure you see the title to the video. You can tell that. Now, before going forward, because many people don't really look at entire videos. They look at maybe a couple of minutes of it and then they move on. So for those people, I want to get one thing perfectly clear. This is not a Todd Howard apology. In fact, I'm going to give you my opinion of Todd Howard as a businessman. I can't tell you what he's like personally because I don't know him. I would never speak on him as a person because, like I said, I don't know him, and I try to pride myself in not doing things like that. But I can give you my opinion on what I think he is as a businessman, or what he's like based on things he's done in the past. For example, we all know that Bethesda and Todd Howard has a history of putting out games in a very buggy state. The games apparently have been great games because as buggy as they've been successful, so you have to give them credit for creating great games because your game can't suck and be buggy. It can't be both. So obviously his games have been great. I think that that's really a part of his value system, if you will. I think that I think he has no problem with releasing a game that's buggy. And that's kind of our fault because we've kind of spoiled them into, believing that, hey, look, as long as the game is great and it's fun, they'll accept it, they'll buy it, and they'll wait for us to fix it, or they'll wait for modders to come in and do whatever. Okay, but it's not just about modders because modders don't really affect the console, and I've played a lot of their games on console, and eventually they turn out to be great fun games on console as well. But I believe that Todd Howard simply doesn't mind doing that. I think he doesn't have a problem with it. Even today, I think personally he doesn't have a problem with it. I believe, and this is my opinion, some of you may disagree, I think that if it were up to Todd Howard, Starfield would still be set to release in November. I think that Todd Howard would just have no problem with delaying the game. Of course, he would want to make sure that it's fun, but in terms of bugs, I just don't think he would have a problem with it personally. I think the decision to delay was not his decision. I think to save face, we were made to believe it was his decision, but I think that it wasn't. I think it had more to do with the fact that this is no longer just about Todd Howard in an individual game. This is not just about Starfield as an individual game. Microsoft is planning on using Starfield to bring many more subscribers into Game Pass. So Starfield is connected to Game Pass. To the company, I believe they view them as like twins, connected. I think that they're planning on using it to say, hey, this is a great game. Look at it. Check it out on YouTube. If you want to play it, you can either purchase it or, hey, look, you can come over here and get Game Pass and not only get that game free, you can get all our other games free. And next year, Microsoft is due to have a serious backlog of games coming in. I say backlog because from what I'm understanding, they're going to be so backed up by things being delayed. They're going to have a lot of games to release. And the problem they have now is making sure these games don't cannibalize each other. So I think that he would have released it if it were up to him personally, but it wasn't up to him personally. So thank God it got delayed. So that's my opinion on Todd Howard. And hey, look, I don't know this for a fact. He could be the one that decided to delay it. I have to ask myself, why would he suddenly do that when he's never done it before? I don't recall. I could be wrong. I don't think that Bethesda has ever not Bethesda, but I don't think Bethesda has ever done that. But I'm pretty sure Todd Howard has never had one of his games delayed because it needed fixing. I've never heard of that. So If any of you know of any of the games that Todd Howard was the head on, and he delayed it, please let me know. I'd be very interested in knowing that. That I know of, that's never happened. But it just so happens to happen by coincidence, which I really don't believe is coincidence, when he's under the Microsoft umbrella making a game that's attached to one of their other services. So I think Microsoft was like, whoa, big boy, we know you've done this in the past, but you can't do this now. But a lot of people are feeling burned by Fallout 76, and rightfully so. The game turned out to be hot garbage. I watch people like Mr. Matty Plays, who's a big Bethesda fan. Everything Bethesda, he loves it. And even he says, especially at the beginning, the game was hot garbage. Now, according to him and a few others, the game is in a much better state now. I don't know. I never played it. I stayed clear from it. But was Todd Howard the director of Fallout 76? I mean, he was a head honcho, so he does have to take some blame. But was he the director of the game? The director of the game is the one who's largely responsible for the game. Well, according to a report by Kotaku, he was not the director. Time will tell how Starfield fares, but in the meantime, a report has indicated that the open world sci-fi RPG may be partly to blame for Fallout 76's problems. Kotaku published a report earlier this month detailing the troubled development behind Fallout 76's claims that Todd Howard basically neglected Fallout 76 to focus his attention on Starfield. In the next paragraph down, according to one of the people being interviewed by Kotaku, it should be noted that Todd Howard was not the director of Fallout 76. So even if he was supposed to be in charge of the game, it would make sense that his efforts would be mostly focused on Starfield. Now, I must admit, all these years I did think that Todd Howard was the director of Fallout 76. I mean, every time you hear about the failure of Fallout 76, the one name that comes up is Todd Howard and no one else's. So after reading this, I couldn't help but wonder, who was the director of Fallout 76? So of course I did a search and Jeff Gardner's name popped up. While I certainly knew Jeff as someone who worked at Bethesda, all this time I had no idea that he was project lead on Fallout 76. So to confirm even further, I go to his LinkedIn page, and yeah, there's Fallout 76, of course, along with the other Fallout lineup. But if you go down a little bit more, you will see that on his own LinkedIn page, he does say that he was project lead on Fallout 76. But this left me wondering, if Jeff was lead on Fallout 76, why would Todd Howard fall on the sword for the failure of Fallout 76? And the conclusion I came to was this. Now, this is my opinion and only my opinion. According to the Kotaku report, no one wanted to work on Fallout 76. No one even thought that it was a great idea. They thought it was an insult to the legacy of Fallout. And I believe both Jeff and Todd were among those who felt that way. Obviously, Todd felt that way. When you read the report, you see that he basically treated it like a stepchild. But between the two of them, only one had something to lose in the future, and that was Todd Howard. Todd Howard probably realized that, hey, all of these fans, all of these Bethesda fans, especially who are pissed off about this game being Fallout 76, these are the same people I'm going to need to trust the company when I get ready to sell my pet project, Starfield. Last note on this subject, the funny thing I noticed when I searched to find out who the project manager was on Fallout 76 was the fact that though Jeff's name came up at the top of the page, most all of the links below only mentions Todd Howard. Here's what I suggest for anyone who doesn't have Game Pass. Do not pre-order the game. In fact, I'm totally against pre-orders in general. People who do a lot of pre-ordering are probably the loudest online complaining about broken game releases. Take CD Projekt Red, for example. Even after the Cyberpunk debacle, I'd be willing to bet money that pre-orders for the Witcher game, the new Witcher game, goes through the roof. My next advice is simply this. If you're someone who wants to play the game practically bug-free, wait a week or two and then jump on board. Many channels will be posting the game and its gameplay on day one. The very first video that I post, in fact, will be from the Series S, then followed by the Series X. Now, of course, my main gameplay will be on PC, but the first two posts will basically be so that you guys can see how it's playing on the console. While I do believe Starfield will be a fun game to play, I also have no doubt that it will be a better game probably somewhere between 2 weeks to a month later. So nothing wrong with waiting. Just wake up in the morning on release day. Check out a couple of reviews, my channel preferably. Of course, I'm going to promote my channel, but check out any reviewer that you trust. And then if you like what you see, download the game. It'll be downloaded in a matter of moments, and you'll be playing in a matter of moments. Believe it or not, there is no such thing as a game you have to have the very moment it releases. You'll be okay. Believe me, just practice some patience. So hey guys, that's going to be it. Hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a like, give it a share. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Just hit that button right down there at the bottom and go ahead and subscribe. But hey guys, as usual, and as always, stay safe.